The second thing you need to know is how your apprenticeship works in your state. Here's the deal in the trades, every state and every trade is different. It's kind of confusing, except it's not. Because what you're going to do is you're going to Google, how do I become a licensed plumber in the state of Washington, right? And it'll tell you. In the state of Washington, this is how it works. You first have to get a trainee card. You have to pay a fee and get a trainee card. And then you have to go to work for someone who's got a licensed plumber that can sign for those hours. They can certify that you worked. And then you have to go to work and you work with a licensed plumber. After a year's time, now this is all different in every state, but in the state of Washington, after a year, you have to take CE credits. CE credits are continuing education courses that the states want you to take to keep you current in your trade, right? Things are changing constantly. And so the idea is that you take classes every year to make sure that you're current, right? Imagine if you're 60 years old, you've been in the trade for 40 years and never learned anything. You'd be really behind, right? So that's what CE credits are. Every trade's got them, and every state's different as far as how many they require. In the state of Washington, I think it's 8, right, every year. But your state might be different and your trade might be different. So we have to keep our trainee card current so that we can get hours. And then what are hours? Hours are on-the-job hours that another licensed person can sign for and certify that you are on the job site working this many hours. So you got to make sure in your state that that person can do that. I know one state where all they need is one licensed plumber, for instance, and they can sign for all the employees. In the state of Washington, one residential plumber can sign for 3 apprentices as long as they're on the same job site, or one commercial plumber can sign for 1 commercial apprentice. But that's it, right? Everything's different. So you got to figure that out, and it's your responsibility to know. If you don't know, it's easy to get taken advantage of. I interviewed a plumber once. He thought he was a plumber. He'd been working in a plumbing company for 3 years. He knew all this stuff, but he never got a trainee card. And come to find out, there wasn't even a licensed plumber working at this company. And it was a bigger company. And so here he had worked 3 years, had nothing to show for it. And so I don't want that to happen to you. So you Google, how does my license work in my state on my trade, and make sure you figure that out. And then you want to go over it with your employer. You want to go over it with, if you're interviewing somewhere, you want to go over it with them and make sure that they can actually sign for your hours or certify your hours so that you're not wasting your time and you can actually become licensed in your trade. That's how it works.